Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so we have a very cool shirt you have on there.
Okay, let's get it out right now.
Yeah, that's known as the Moray effect.
I
You
did
have a
not
certain pattern,
think it through this morning.
but it's psychedelic, and that's going to entertain the viewers. So Karen her shirt will be wiggling for the next hour.
Right. I won't. Only my shirt.
Hey, you just get out in the open. So
Get it out there. So if
we-
anybody wants to comment about my shirt, it actually looks much cooler in person, but you have to be specific with the camera. So solids from now on.
Okay.
Okay, and that's it.
There's
So-
no claims in
None.
this show. We're not
None.
going to claim, cure anything. So anything that we say is check with your doctor before implementing any of the suggestions. So just my opinions.
Yep. No
And,
diagnosis, no cures, no treatments provided.
What about for cancer?
In this?
Is there any cures for cancer?
There's no cures for anything here. This is just information and ideas. Yes.
It's food for thought, Karen.
Food for thought.
Let's go to Kathy.
Good.
Hi, Kathy. You're from California. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Beautiful. Dr. Berg, I have three problems. One of them is I've been losing a lot of weight. Let me see if I could do this real fast. For 2 weeks, I had fever and I had an infection on my throat, and they gave me 2 different kind of antibiotics. So then from there, I tried to get into the keto real fast because I wanted to get healthier for my immune system. So I went really fast to the keto and ketosis, and now I was 168 pounds. Now I'm 151 pounds, but I don't know how to stop to lose weight because I feel weak. I eat my eggs in the morning with bacon, with sausage, and with avocado, and then later on 4 hours, but I don't get hungry, and my stomach goes in, like it feels empty, and I don't know what to do. I force the food in my mouth, but I don't.
Okay, and this.
But I
Okay,
don't know
so
what
this
to
is
do, and then I don't know how to take vitamins either.
Yeah, this is a really good question, Kathy. So this is what happened. It seemed to be starting after antibiotics. Now think about what happens. Antibiotics destroy and kill off the good and the bad bacteria at the same time. So now you started losing all this weight, and doesn't seem like you're satisfied when you eat too, because you're, well, actually I think you said you're not hungry, but it doesn't seem to, your stomach is sinking in, that type of thing. Honestly, I think you need to replenish the microbes because they do a lot. They also help you recycle the bile. They make what's called secondary bile acids or bile salts. And so what you need to do is put that back in, a good probiotic. So what you'll find is if you have more bile, you'll absorb more nutrients, you'll be more satisfied, you'll be stronger. I would also, especially for those people that are losing too much weight on keto, you can add the fat in there, but realize the fat might not actually help you gain more weight. You want to keep, it's always a carb, so you bring your carbs up to the higher level. So the carbs, about 50 grams per day. Don't keep them 20, just keep 50 grams. So add more berries, things like that, just to keep your carbs a little bit higher. And then do 2 meals, and then keep your calories higher. But I think with you need to add more friendly bacteria. Cabbage, kefir, fermented food is going to be good. That's what you need. Now, also, it might not hurt to take some purified bile salts because that will actually extract and help pull more nutrients into the body too, because you might be deficient. So you take bile, also take the microbes to help build bile. Make sure you have enough fiber to feed the microbes so you can make more bile. There you have it. All right, so first quiz, Karen, of the day.
Okay.
What is the purpose of phytonutrients in the foods that you eat? I mean, what's the big purpose? It's not really part of like
big deal.
Vitamins and minerals and things like that. It's an extra thing. Like, what's the purpose of that? What's it doing? Okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm ready for a question.
You are? Well, Dan on YouTube wants to know your viewpoints on moringa powder.
You know, it's a good greens product that has a lot of nutrients. I think it's a good greens product that will help you. So not a bad idea to take that as a powder.
Okay, good. And speaking of powders, Sophie on YouTube wants to know how you feel about cream of tartar, using cream of tartar.
Yeah, for potassium.
Well, but also, it's in a lot of keto recipes.
Right, right.
So what
I
do you
mean,
think?
I mean, go for it. It's, I don't have a lot of opinion on that because I haven't really experimented or tried things. So, I mean, it has potassium. You try it, see if you feel better. But
I mean, it's
I don't
only
have
like maybe a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon. From my experience in recipes, I don't know how.
Yeah, but
else
I don't
they're
know the
taking
source
it.
of it. I don't know how they
Okay.
make it. I don't know. I don't have enough data to give you an opinion, actually. So
Okay.
I'm going to say I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So, did you have another one? Because I'm going to go to.
Well, I'm just spending a little time today writing down where people are from because I haven't done that in months. And
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you give me
I'm
the
gonna do
answers, and then you can keep looking. But just give me the answers to this question: why do we need phytonutrients? I mean, like, what is it doing for us?
I'm getting answers like it improves immunity, antioxidants, it feeds your bacteria. I think you stumped people today
Oh, wow.
because I'm not getting lots of answers on that.
Okay. Well, maybe I should just answer it. What do you think?
I think that you should state the question and answer it.
So, what's the purpose of phytonutrients? There's several textbooks that I have on this and on various topics. Like one is cancer, and like the World Health Organization has done massive or funded massive research in the area of cancer using phytonutrients. I mean, it's like this thick, filled with research. But the way that it addresses cancer primarily is by it's a very powerful antioxidant. So cancer really originates from damaged mitochondria. So from oxidation or ionizing radiation. So basically the phytonutrients will help protect against that damage. They help protect the cells against all this other crap and toxicity in our environment. So that's one thing, and I think the biggest thing, it protects our cells against the damage from having a disease, from diabetes, having an inflammatory disease, having chemicals in the body. It's a great detoxifier of chemicals and poisons. So it gives us some additional help. Like if you take a look at lutein, for example, or certain carotenoids, which actually is lutein. It's a fat-soluble phytonutrient that will slow down the age-related macular degeneration because of all the breakdown and stuff. So these phytonutrients help slow that down and help prevent it. So even though you had diabetes or you have some disease and you had a lot of phytonutrients from the food, you wouldn't get near the side effects, okay? And it can help to protect you, especially at the DNA level. That's just one thing, but it does many, many things. It stimulates autophagy. It helps with anti-aging. It helps keep your body clean. But the main thing, it's a powerful antioxidant, and from there it has a lot of other benefits. All right. Are you good with that answer, Karen?
I love that answer. I was paying
Okay.
attention 100% of the time.
Well, let's go to Dan
Okay, good.
from Florida.
Okay.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dr. Berg. Hey, Karen.
Hi.
I love the shirt, by the way.
Thanks.
Dr. Berg, I've had a history of kidney stones. I'm on a diuretic, hydrochlorothiazide, which I want to get off of. And I did get off it for about a month. Then I had a urine test. And it's coming back that the calcium in my urine is like 3 times the normal. And I was wondering if you had any advice on what would cause that and what I could do to bring that into the normal range.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be doing another video on kidney stones. I have a series of them, but I will say that one of the side effects of diuretics, especially the one you're taking, is kidney stone. And I think it's because it depletes your potassium, and potassium is protective against the kidney. Potassium helps regulate the excess calcium that builds up. So potassium is what I would recommend. Potassium citrate, start taking more of that. And then also take citrates from lemon juice. I would get some lemon juice, probably 3 ounces a day, and start chugging that down with water. The most important thing with kidney stones to prevent them from forming is to drink minimally 2.5 liters of fluid every single day. At least that will keep these calcium particles from forming into stones. So we have the calcium, and we usually have the oxalate that forms. It could be also other types of stones, but so I think the diuretic is messing you up mostly, so I would do that. The other couple things you should do is that consuming a little dairy in the diet, like some cheese, is not a bad idea, because what will happen is if you consume, like people think, oh yeah, if I take too much calcium, it's going to end up with kidney stones. No, it's not. It's actually going to go through the digestive system and actually help lower the risk of kidney stones. It's just the opposite of what people will tell you. But you need to make sure that you avoid almond flour that's high in oxalates, spinach, of course rhubarb, Swiss chard, chocolate, kiwi. All those things are very high in oxalates, so you want to avoid those. And you want to drink a lot of water. And you want to definitely get on keto and do intermittent fasting. And the last thing I was going to say is that fiber helps bind with calcium to prevent it from going in the kidney. So it lowers the amount of calcium in the kidney. Fiber. So we come back to our large salads, right? That would be very important. And one last thing, it's the purified bile salts can help also bind to calcium and lower the risk of getting stones. So bile salts are another key thing that I would recommend. There's a lot more, Dan, but I think that'll get you started. Thanks for your question. All right, where are people contacting us from?
Wow. Well, this is amazing, and hang tight, because I'm going to acknowledge just about everybody unless I missed you. Today we have people joining us from France, Canada, Egypt, Syria, the Netherlands, Philippines, New Zealand, Dubai, Romania, Kuwait, Spain, Panama, Serbia, Sweden, California, all over the United States. I started writing states down and it's too many to read. Australia, Switzerland, Tunisia, Singapore, Puerto Rico, holy cow, everywhere. What is this? Saudi Arabia?
Wow. What about Kansas?
And Kansas.
You know, I went. That's amazing, Karen. That
I mean,
is so
honestly, the states, Tennessee, Louisiana, Wisconsin, there's someone from Vegas, Florida, all over Canada, Boston, Massachusetts,
Wow.
Georgia, South Carolina.
I had to
which
do
probably
my
said
I had to do my on-the-job training in the Army in Fort Riley,
Kansas.
Kansas.
I know you did.
That was a lot of fun
And
back
I did
then.
my, if anyone is near Green Spring, Texas. Or no, it was a Green Spring Rehab Center. Anyway,
Right.
Gonzales, Texas is where
Occupational
it was.
therapy.
I lived in
Internship.
Gonzales, Texas at the time, population 7,000. Awesome town. Awesome town. Floating down the Snake River in an inner tube. Anyway, we digress. I have questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good. So Esmeralda on Facebook wants to know how she can help her ringing in the ears.
I would recommend, there's 2 techniques that you can look online. I did videos on this, but I think the biggest thing is it's B1. You need to take B1 for that. But I would not take a regular B1. I would take the fat-soluble version. It's called benfotiamine. You can look it up, but that will support the nerve that is in the inner ear. Also, if your mother's deficient in B1, or especially iodine, you may have problems with either ringing or some type of abnormal hearing. So, you know, it does relate a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, B1.
Okay, good. So Tony on Facebook wants to know about nightmares.
Guess what? That's the same thing.
I thought so.
B1, nightmares. And you know what? It's about time to relate the
Your
question
next
related to
question.
B1. What is the first symptom of a B1 deficiency that most people get? That's the question. You guys can chew on that if you wanted to answer
Can
another
chew on that
question.
B1. Yes, Arfin on Facebook asked a question about reflux for babies, which is a good question. I don't think anyone's ever asked you, but you know, babies do tend to spit up a lot.
Well, I would really need to know, is the baby still breastfeeding or not? Because usually 9 out of 10 times the child is consuming not breast milk, but
Other
either
things.
that they're allergic to, like the formulas or some other food that maybe you shouldn't be giving a child. I would look at that and change the foods, and it'll be a simple thing, but try to breastfeed as long as possible.
And there you go.
Okay? Karen, I need to go to Ruth
Okay.
from Dallas, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Ruth.
Ruth.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Karen.
Hi.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Some of your callers may not know that I've called in several times before, but my issue was stiff fingers. And when I started keto, I was like 270 pounds, and the reason I did was because I had diabetes, and my fingers would get really stiff at night. Well, 3 years later, I'm 135. I'm feeling great. And then all of a sudden, I started having the stiff fingers again. So I was thinking it was my carbs were too high, and so I kept bringing them down and down and down, and they wouldn't go away. And I've had an issue with estrogen simply because I've gone through menopause.
Mm-hmm.
And I initially thought my estrogen was really high, so I started doing, you know, what you were saying to lower the estrogen. Or no, first I thought my estrogen was too low. And so I started doing what you were saying to raise the estrogen, which is the wild yam and the black cohosh and I think something else. And the symptoms weren't going away, so I thought, well, maybe they're just too high. So then I started trying to lower estrogen. And I had a blood test, and I was checking everything, and everything looked good. But one of your videos had mentioned that the stiffness, tingling in the feet, could be from a low calcium. So I started looking at the low calcium, and I thought, well, that kind of seemed to fit. So I started taking that calcium aspartate and Dryas, and it seems to have cleared things up. So I researched a little bit more, and supposedly when your estrogen gets too low, your calcium bottoms out. But I had that blood test, and the calcium was on the lower range, but it wasn't low. I mean, it wasn't lower than what the range should be, but yet taking that calcium seems to have helped. So now I'm starting again with the wild yam and the black cohosh, trying to get the estrogen back up, and I've still been taking the calcium. I mean, how long should I keep doing that? Should I keep taking the calcium just until the symptoms go away, or how will I know my estrogen's back up?
Good question. It's a little complex, but here's in a thumbnail sketch. The thing about calcium, it's a little similar to other minerals like iron, sometimes copper, where it can be very, very toxic in large amounts. So you want to be careful about taking calcium too long. Now, what you're taking, you can take it for several weeks and then don't take it. I think that'll be fine. But I would probably try to get the calcium from some cheese or other foods that are higher in calcium, simply because calcium is tightly regulated, and most people have way too much calcium that's stuck inside the cells, and it creates calcification here, calcification there, and in the heart, and it creates a lot of problems. You may want to add some K2, which helps you transport calcium. But the other thing that helps calcium, especially in the bone, is phosphorus. And one of the symptoms of phosphorus deficiency is stiff hands. So phosphorus is another mineral that it forms like the energy, like ATP. And people can be kind of tired from it, from not having enough. So that's another thing that I would look at, and that could help balance your calcium. But thanks for your question, Ruth. All right, let's see what.
I have a question.
Well, we have to answer the question first, because I said, what's the first symptom of a B1 deficiency?
Oh. Was I listening?
No.
I don't think I was listening.
No, you weren't.
I didn't even know you asked a question. Okay. Nerves. Let's see with these. There's so many different questions peppered in here. Let's see. B1 deficiency. You know what? These guys are just asking a lot of questions here.
Well, let me just tell you what it is, okay? Because yes, it is true that it's going to affect your nerves, but that's not the first symptom. The first symptom of a vitamin B deficiency is it's kind of like a version of anxiety, but it's more like, no, it's a nervous tension.
Irritability?
Yeah, sort of kind of a buildup of energy that you feel, you're restless. You can't relax. You're like, you know, you have like a very severe level of that would be a panic attack. So it's kind of a type of anxiety where you're like, you know, I just can't relax. And you can even have restless legs. So one thing, if you guys have that, it's such an easy thing and dramatic within a couple minutes. Like, oh my gosh, I feel relief. So taking B1, I recommend nutritional yeast, will just make you feel so much calmer, especially if you have a low tolerance for certain personalities. If you have a low tolerance to stress, let's say you can't tolerate about 8 small children in a room for over 6 hours, and you have an issue with that. Or, you know, you work at a daycare center and you're just like, oh, you know, you need B1. So it'll make you feel very, very calm, and you'll be able to handle slow drivers much better, and anyone else that irritates
all else
you.
that irritates a person, which seems to be in abundance these days.
Yeah.
Really got to.
If you ever see people
really
flying
have to
off
be
the handle,
taking
just put some B1 in their coffee.
Or their
In their
hand.
drink. No. In their sugar drink. Yeah, so that's B1.
Right.
It's like a
Okay, good.
no-brainer. Okay?
Okay, good.
All right, so now you have a question, I think. Do you?
I have a question
Go
from
ahead.
Mohammed. An interesting one. What is the effect of going on the keto diet on and off, and on and off, and on and off a lot?
Kind of messes you up because it takes a while to get into keto, and it's very fast to get off of it. But it's going to confuse your metabolism, and you may find that it's going to take you longer to get on track. I do know that it's hard to believe, but some people just have a heck of a time giving up carbohydrates. In fact, it's one person told me that you're taking my life away. I'm not going to be able to live anymore without a carbohydrate. I said, well, find your pleasure from more fatty foods, or something that is like a kind of a substitute, like a keto bomb or something like that. You just need to make additional recipes. There are some really good desserts that we have made. You can look them up right on the website that can mimic that. So you don't really need the sugar. But I will say, once you really get into keto and you're fully adapted, your cravings for carbs will be gone.
Make good choices out there.
Be mindful, Karen. Okay, Miriam, you are from Cleveland, Ohio. You had a question. What is it?
Yes. I need your help. I'm Egyptian. Anyway, I'm here. I lived from 25 years, and I went to million doctors. They don't know what's my problem.
Okay.
I don't have no energy at all. I need a lot of sweet stuff.
Unless you eat sweet stuff. Okay. Are you doing
She
keto?
eats a lot of sweet stuff.
You said
I cannot fast. When I wake up, I have to eat right away. I get dizzy.
Yeah.
My blood pressure go down. I
Yeah.
can't see nothing from.
Okay. Have you tried keto yet?
I cannot do any diet. If I eat some salad, like with some meat, it's still hungry. It doesn't give me energy.
Okay.
I have to eat bread.
I think I know.
I eat wheat bread.
You do?
Go ahead.
I think I know what's going on. Okay. I did a video on this as well. Here's what happens. You're trying to do keto and you just can't do it because your blood sugars are off. This just means you have very, 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 very severe insulin resistance. But there's something else involved as well. And this relates to the liver, and it relates to the gallbladder and your bile pool, your reserve of bile, which I think you're very deficient, because if you eat and you feel very satisfied, you usually have enough bile. Bile helps you extract and absorb the fats from the food and pushes them up to the brain, so you get all the fat-soluble vitamins and you get all the omega-3 and you feel very satisfied. If you took some purified bile salts and took that with every single meal, and maybe even one on an empty stomach, okay, I'd recommend Gallbladder formula, and you start doing that, you're going to notice within about 2 days, you're like, wow, I am more satisfied. I have more sustaining ability to be able to not eat. But the fact that you need to eat and it doesn't satisfy you and you go for the sweet, what you really need to do is go for more fats. The fat is what you're missing. And the problem is every time you do the sweet, now you're in this cycle. It'll spike your blood sugars, now it's going to crash down. So you need to do keto, but you need to first add more fat with the meals, and you need to take purified bile salts or the Gallbladder formula. That's what you're missing. Okay? So do that, and I think that should help you. And now we're ready for another quiz, Karen.
Oh.
Before we do a question.
Okay.
When is the best time to consume a keto snack on a given day? When's the best time?
This is a trap.
When's the best time to consume your keto snack? Okay. All right. Now, while they're answering that, you go ahead and ask a question.
Okay. Well, first I want to say welcome also to people from Africa, Iraq, the United Kingdom, and Thailand.
Wow, we pretty much have the entire world.
We have the world here. Awesome. So, Tori on Facebook wants to know, fasting, wants to do long-term fasting, but gets nervous, has a nervous sensation after about 16 or 18 hours.
I think she's running out of B vitamins. The B vitamins will make the nerves calm. The other thing too is you want to, see, you have to realize that to get into keto and you're burning fat and to adapt, it doesn't just sometimes happen in 3 days. It could take 1 to 2 weeks, so it's a process. And it's going to take a lot longer if you're not quite on keto, you're sort of on it, and then it's going to just take it longer, because what gets you in keto is turning the carbs way down and fasting longer. So the problem is some people are in the middle zone where they're just like, I'm still craving, I'm still having a hard time, I have the shakes, the whole thing, because you're not fully utilizing all the fat from fat fuel, 100%. So I would go for the B vitamins, nutritional yeast, and add more fat to the diet. That's what I would do.
Oh.
Okay, so.
Oh, Steve, if you're talking, nobody can hear you.
I'm sorry, forgive me. I just put up the drberg.com/gift, and maybe you folks can describe how wonderful that is and what it is.
There is a course. If you're new to this channel, there's a course that I've been talking about. It's a free course. I recommend you do it. It's on the immune system, how to boost your immune system. It's 21 lessons, and it's really, it's going to put you in the driver's seat to strengthen your immune system. So that way you don't have to be in fear. So you can actually strengthen your immune system. So take that course. There's a link down below. It's through Messenger. You may not have Messenger. Sign up. If you don't like Messenger, just cancel it when you're done with the course. But take the course and then spread it and share it and get something out of it and apply it. And then send me your success story.
Yeah, it's really cool. 2,000 people a day sign up for that course.
2001.
2,000 and you
Yeah.
a day. This is exciting, right? To think that 2,000 people a day are getting information on how to improve their immune system. Great community, you guys. Okay, good. So you want to answer to your question?
Yep. Mm-hmm. When is the best time? Like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock? What time?
3 primary answers. With a meal, right after a meal, and never.
You guys are correct. Correct.
They're smart.
Steve said
This is
3
not their
o'clock. I
first-
said no.
Not their first rodeo. These
No,
guys,
you
these guys know you.
don't want to do a snack between meals. So if you think you do, you're missing the data that every time you eat you stimulate insulin. So you want to have it after the meal, during the meal, or
Right.
at 0 anytime else. Not like a midnight snack.
Right. I mean,
Okay.
I know people who are very, very focused on making sure that all their snacks are low carb.
It's so ironic because I would say maybe I don't know 10 years ago I was, oh my gosh, mid-morning snack, apple peanut butter. Mid-afternoon I had to have a snack. At night,
Nuts.
peanut
Right.
well, these are healthy.
They're healthy, right?
I did not have a concept of this intermittent fasting, and it's interesting. I was the worst snacker on the planet.
Okay. Well, I'm also going to say hello to Denmark, Croatia, and Ireland. Speaking of Ireland, Ivor Cummins is from Ireland, and he's going to be at the summit this year.
What's the date of the summit?
29th
Of what month?
this month.
Okay, good.
So enroll now. We're just working on getting it all together. It's going to be so hot, and you guys are going to learn so much. So
29th and 30th.
I don't know if there's a link here. Steve, is there a link here? Yeah, he's shaking his head. Yeah, so you should be able to look down and see a link for the summit, the Healthy Keto Summit. Otherwise, you can go to drberg.com. Healthy Keto Summit. It's super cheap. Free flights for you this year. Free parking. No line at the restroom.
The first video that you see, you're going to say, that was like worth the whole thing right there. Just your time watching it and the very small cost. And then a whole bunch of other amazing virtual presentations that are literally going to blow you away and give you the knowledge that you need just to take your health and just keep going, keep going. So it's just really worth it. You should do it, and then you'll see why. You will see why. Okay, next question, Karen.
Okay.
When does fasting become starving? That's
I
a
like
good
that
question.
question.
I know.
If you don't say so yourself.
I don't say so. Yeah, if I don't
You
say
do
so myself.
say so yourself. Okay, so when does fasting become starving?
Yes.
And hello to Mexico.
Okay. Jocelyn from Canada. Are you there? Manitoba?
Hello, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Hello, Karen. Yes, I'm here.
Hey.
Thank you very much for doing this for all of us around the world today. Very
Sure.
much appreciated. And so my question is related to entering that state of perimenopause. Oh my goodness. So I have the hot flashes, the night sweats, and the quote-unquote meno belly, which I've heard is the term for the weight gain that women get. And so I've taken your advice regarding the black cohosh and getting the supplements, and that is helping with the night sweats, so I'm getting good sleep. The hot flashes aren't so bad, but I don't know how to handle the weight gain. I'm having trouble with that, and so I'm wondering if keto would help with that.
You know what's interesting about this question? It really comes down to the basics. I tell you, once you start, 9 times out of 10, if you just start doing keto, you won't have hot flashes. I mean, you're going to go through this very, very smoothly. And one of the reasons is because when you get on keto and do intermittent fasting, just like I recommend in the book, is that it takes a lot of stress off the adrenals, because adrenals are the backup to the ovaries. And your ovaries are going into retirement now, and they need some backup help, but the backup is like still tired, so we need to take the stress off with a basic fuel. So that probably is going to handle it right there just by doing keto. The other thing is that you may want to take a good high quality vitamin E, because the the pituitary gland is usually deficient going through perimenopause. So you want to take, the type you want to get is tocotrienols. I don't have a brand, you have to do that part, but start taking that too. And I think those two things are going to help you greatly. All right, Karen, give me the answers to that question.
So it's kind of interesting because some of the answers, repeat the question.
When does fasting become starving?
Right, so it's sort of like when some of the answers are when you're really hungry, when you're not eating enough, but then other questions are when you run out of your fat storage, and when your body starts to eat its own protein and muscle. So
okay.
there you have it. Those are the answers.
Well, it's correct, because it's basically you start starving when you run out of your fat storage and you start burning your muscles.
That?
You're gonna first of all, you can visualize it. You can see that the person's getting too thin, and also your muscles, maybe you feel weaker, you're losing muscle, and your energy is very low, and you're feeling symptoms. Normally, if you're in healthy keto, you're going to feel great, have energy, be strong, and have endurance. When you don't feel that way, and you just look at the person like, yeah, well, you probably are starving because you're not having enough nutrients from those calories. Okay, so that would be the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have another question?
I want to welcome Russia, Manila, Algeria, and India.
Wow.
And there are questions, but I was busy getting the answers to that, so why don't you take a call and we'll get some more questions.
Hey, Robin, you're from Crescent City, California. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I wanted to tell you first our good news. Been doing for 20 months. I lost 50 pounds, but the good news is I'm keeping it off because I've never been able to do that in my life, and I still have more to lose.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. My husband has lost 70 pounds.
75 pounds?
And yes.
Wow.
Wow.
And my son, who's 27, has lost 200 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
He's how old?
27.
Wow. That's incredible. Amazing.
So my kid,
I think you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh. Whoops. My husband should be your poster child because for 20 months he has done every single thing to the letter, and he can tell anyone what to do.
Wow.
And he's very proud of it, what he's done. My question is, we all do OMAD, but he is fasting every other day. So he only eats every other day.
Mm-hmm.
And he's lost all he can lose. He's very thin, although he works out and walks 5 miles a day.
Wow.
But I think keeping doing this is shouldn't he? I mean, it's like he should still be losing weight, but he has no more left to lose, and he's very, very thin. But he thinks it's great. But I don't know if he should continue eating every other day or not, or go back to every day. Mm-hmm. What would you think?
This is what I think. I think that...
And
Go
Dr. Berg, one more thing is we were both diabetics.
Okay.
And so not only losing weight, but his number one point is to keep his sugar down.
Yeah, makes sense. Totally. Okay, so this is the point, is like the key, the purpose of eating food is to get your nutrients and your fuel and your phytonutrients, of course. So I would highly recommend that, he's actually through the day, like adding a lot of nutrients to this fasting because you want to make sure you're not deficient. Now the problem is the protein, okay? And we don't really need protein, we need amino acids. So he probably would have to add an amino acid blend, and I have some data on that. You can look on the website about, it's called the Keto Aminos, but that would provide the essential amino acids to replace, to make sure he doesn't start using his own proteins, his muscle. That's the key. You could even get a test to measure if there's any catabolic effect or breakdown effect on his muscles, and if there is, I think it's called a DEXA scan, you can measure that, and it'll tell you how much lean muscle he has and see if he's out of the range or not. I mean, usually you're going to feel weak, but sometimes you don't. But
He's
of course,
walking 5 miles a day.
right. So the point is that I'm not going to tell him to, eat once a day or not, but make sure the nutrients are in there and make sure he has enough fuel. I mean, ideally, probably once a day would be good, but also you have the fiber. So there's just the nutrient part. I want to make sure he's having enough the vitamin E, vitamin C. I'll make sure all of those are in, and zinc and trace minerals, because that is where you have problems. And then you have the endocrine system. So, and then make sure that meal that he has is quite sufficient. Okay, Robin? Great success. Thank you so much for that.
It was incredible, an entire family. It was like almost 400 pounds.
Yeah.
In one family.
Yes.
Amazing.
You had a question?
Yeah, Leah on Facebook wants to know if celery juice will break her fast.
I doubt it. I doubt it very much, because out of all the vegetables, celery has the least amount of sugar. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think what I would do if I were you, instead of celery juice, I would eat the whole celery. That way you have the fiber, and it's even going to be better for you. Karen.
Yeah.
So this is not a quiz, but I want to talk about it. Did you realize you've heard of diabetes type 2, right?
Yes.
Have you heard about type 1?
Yes.
Have you heard about type 1.5?
No.
Yeah. There's a type 1.5.
Wow.
And another name for that is called double diabetes. And it's a combination of 1 and 2. And so here
I've
you have...
never heard of that.
Yep. You have this type 2, which is very easy to fix with diet. But then you have type 1, which you have an autoimmune condition where your body is destroying the cells. So now you don't produce any more insulin. So type 1.5 is really bad, because not only do you not produce insulin, you don't receive it. The cells are not receiving it because you have insulin resistance. So it's like,
wow.
So now you have to take insulin, and it's a mess. But that's a video that I'm going to do, and I'm going to release this week. So the moral of the story is that you need to do everything you can right now to prevent that, because
right.
you don't want to end up in that boat, because type 1 is very difficult, if not impossible, to undo. But
wow.
you could definitely manage it on keto. The diet that you would want to be on for type 1 and type 2 and 1.5 is all the same. FYI. It's keto.
There you have it.
There's no
FYI.
difference. Yeah, just in case you wanted to know. Let's go to, I think it's Abdullah from United Arab Emirates. Are you there?
Yeah, hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi, perfectly, yes.
Yeah, wonderful. I just wanted to say thank you so much for what you're doing for everyone in my life. I went from, I'm 37 years old. I managed to lose this year 70 pounds.
Wow.
I was 200 pounds. I went.
Wow.
I went down to 127 pounds, from 200 to 127. And I had all my friends. I would have my cousins that, of course, they'd known me from childhood. They would be talking to me for 15 minutes and then ask me how I was. Like, how is your brother so-and-so? I'm like, I am Abdullah. They're like, no way, you're... They wouldn't even know. My family didn't recognize me. They thought I was my younger brother.
Wow.
Wow.
So I'm 37. They think I'm 25. And
Amazing.
I've been doing sports all my life. I was never able to get a six-pack.
Wow.
I managed to get my six-pack. I took photos of myself, and everyone that saw them was like, oh, this guy's like 25 or something like that. It really just changed my life. And everyone comes and asks me, oh, what is the magic pill? What are you doing? What is the magic diet? I'm like, no, there's no magic diet. It's called keto, and you got to go to a doctor to that information. And I just recommend your channel, and I just you knew that there's also an Arabic channel.
Yes.
Like your channel in Arabic.
Yes, I totally familiar. I'm actually involved in that, so we do have it. In fact, the Arabic channel is the second largest channel we have. I think there's like almost 2 million subscribers already, so that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can tell you have a lot of followers over here.
That's
especially
great.
from my circle. Like, a lot of my friends are like, man, we want to do what you did. We want to look 10 years younger. So yeah, I'll
Right.
get to my question. So my question is basically, I've been on keto for a while, and I noticed, and again, in one of your videos, you recommended using the Keto Mojo. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It uses your blood to basically measure your ketones.
Yeah.
So I reached a point where I'm in ketosis, and I go to like 3.0. The range for ketosis, the ideal range is between 1 and 3. You know that, obviously. So I got to that to that stage, and now I'm stopping using it. I like my meals. I have my protein. I have a lot of vegetables, like you recommend, but I'm not taking any fats, like other than the fat that's inside the protein itself, like the meat itself. I don't take meat. Take meat that has some fat in it. So I know without taking any fat, I'm still in ketosis. In fact, I'm in like a medium to high range of ketosis. Does that mean that I still need to take fat, or should I just stay the way I am, and since I'm maintaining my ketosis in a good level? So that's question number one.
Okay.
I could leave question number 2 for later, if you like.
If you could,
time.
just because I really want to. There's a lot of people
Sure.
after you, so I want to make sure we include everyone. So let me just answer that question, which is a good question.
All right. Yeah.
So you are basically creating your fuel from your own fat. That's how you're making your ketones. And if you feel good, ride the wave. Don't add any more fat because if it's working. Personally, I have to add a little more fat because if I don't, I start losing more. So I found that my sweet spot as far as how much fat I have to eat. But ideally, if you just eat the fat within your normal food, that should be enough. So that's one thing. And you're measuring your ketones, which is good, and it's pretty high. So that means it's working, and your body's very efficient. And also, as long as you maintain your strength and you're feeling great, I think I would just ride the wave. There was one more thing I was going to tell you, but it slipped my mind. So I think that would be enough right now.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I think is so absolutely gratifying, and that is when people like Abdullah call in. There's no need for us to put up any kind of advertising or any kind of endorsements because they just flood in over the airways because it works.
Yeah.
And people are just, feeling so great. What a marvelous thing that is. So
And
Dr. Berg has never instructed us to put together any kind of ads or bring people in for endorsements because it's not genuine, and we don't need it because people are genuinely becoming healthy and happy all around the world, as Karen pointed out, from the incredible viewership.
And you just helped me remember the question I was going to, the point I was going to bring.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the fats that you should be consuming, the fat that you will thrive on, because there's a lot of different types of fats, and this is the one that I would want to have you add to your diet, and it's the omega-3 fats, because that's the essential fat. So you're not adding more fat, but omega-3 is really mainly from fish oils. You can get from algae, but fish oils, seafood. So that would be one thing I would probably add to the diet. Omega-3, cod liver oil is good, a high quality fish oil, but that's what you probably need to add more than any other fat. Other types of fat like MCT oil provides energy, and then you have small chain fatty acids that will feed your colon cells, but you can get that from fiber. Your microbes can make it. All right, thanks for your question. Karen.
Yes. I
Ask me a
want
question.
to welcome Palestine, Trinidad Tobago, Netherlands, Ghana, Indonesia, Greece, and Israel.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Now here's a question from Sonia on Facebook.
Yep.
She says she just started keto, and when she's eating that way, she feels pain on her right side. Why would that be?
Well, I had pain on my right side for how many years, Karen?
Like, how long have we
Since
known
I've
each
met
other?
you. And I didn't know what it was. And I had this shooting pain on the right side. But anyway, I got rid of that because I realized it was gallbladder, but there's always this residual tightness underneath my right rib cage. That is a problem with a lack of bile. And so all you need to do is take purified bile salts. You could do gallbladder formula, and you could even take it on an empty stomach until that pain goes away. When you take bile, your bile, it activates the production of more bile, and it allows the bile to drain properly, and it opens up the ducts through your bile ducts, and it gets rid of sludge. It makes the bile thinner. gallstones are a super concentrated cholesterol situation. And one of the purposes of bile is to get rid of excess cholesterol. So if you don't have enough bile, everything kind of gets jammed up and stuck up in your liver, and that creates inflammation. And so adding more bile can really give you relief on the liver and the gallbladder and the bile ducts, which cause a lot of pain if they're blocked, and even pancreatitis. So honestly, I'm going to be writing a book about the gallbladder because I think it's like an epidemic of bile deficiency, probably because the liver is damaged, the fatty liver, inflamed liver, cirrhosis, and people don't even know it. If you have a gut, you have a fatty liver. If you have a fatty liver, you're not producing the bile that you need, and that creates a lot of other side things that you might not know that are connected. So I'm going to be doing a book on that. So, okay?
There you have it.
All right.
Okay, so because every time I acknowledge someone where they're from, more people put
Show
it down.
up.
I'm going to welcome Belgium, South Africa, and Pakistan.
Wow.
And
that's
I'm going
great.
to this week. I'm actually going to save all these notes, and I'm going to make a list. This seems like it's the longest list from around the world.
We need to keep doing this until we hit every single country in the world. So
country.
you're going to have a checklist and see if we can get everyone.
I am. That would be so great. But I have a question.
Well, let's go to Regina from New York. Already
All
clicked it. Are you there?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, Dr. Berg and Karen. Hi.
Hi.
I want to say thank you very much. I'm walking outside because I'm in work, but I couldn't wait to call you. I want to say thank you. I've been following you since 2016. I've been predominantly in ketosis, except a couple of years ago I tried off it, and that was a big mistake. But in total, I've lost approximately 60 pounds and have kept it off for 2 years. And I feel the best I have. I'm 60, and people don't think I look 60, and I don't feel 60. My question, because I know you have a lot of people, is I'm actually a ovo-lacto vegetarian. I, on a very rare occasion, eat fish. My daughter doesn't like it cooked in the house, so that's a problem. But anyway, I transiently go out of ketosis, I'd say once every couple of weeks, depending on what I eat. And it's not like I'm having full carbs like rice and beans and things like that. But, I mean, I do make tofu curry with coconut milk. And if I eat too much at dinner, I might for a day or two, like, slide out of ketosis, but then I go right back in. I really don't have cravings or anything. So my question to you is that am I doing myself harm? Like, you know, I feel good. I have never felt better. As a matter of fact, I could list a whole thing. I was probably going to be a diabetic or was a diabetic because my A1C prior to keto was starting to climb. And amongst some other things, everything has gone away. I feel great. So I just, you know, I could go stricter. I mean, I eat very well. I eat a lot of vegetables.
This is what I would recommend.
Okay.
As long as you're keeping your carbs below, your net carbs below 50 grams. Now, if someone is, let's say, 300 pounds or 400 pounds, I'm going to recommend, forget about the net carbs, you look at the total carbs and keep those down below 50. But for you, I would keep it at below 50 or less. As long as you're doing that, I think you're going to be fine, and as long as you feel good. The key, there's two things. One thing you need to watch is certain nutrients that you might need to add to the diet, which I think you're doing. But I'll just write down the list. It's DHA. It's vitally important, which is a part of an omega-3 fatty acid, because a lot of times it's easy to start building up the omega-6 and not enough omega-3. And so that's one point I want to make. And also make sure you're taking zinc and B12. And those are the points that I would recommend. and just keep your carbs from going a little too high. Okay? And thanks for your support and following us for that many years. That's awesome. All right, Karen. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to ask a question, but I am also going to welcome Scotland, Libya, Mongolia, Belgium, Jamaica, Italy, finally.
Wow.
Join the party, Vietnam, Latvia, Portugal, and Sri Lanka.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's incredible. Yeah, Raymond wants to know, Raymond's on Facebook, he wants to know, is lard okay to use?
Yes, yeah, it is okay, as long as it's from, grass-fed lard. You're not going to buy lard at the local commercial grocery store and just do that. So do a high-quality lard on a piece of toast? No, just kidding. No, I mean, it's totally fine. Totally fine. Absolutely.
Okay, good. And then Roxy wants to know, can kids take bile salts?
Yes, they can. They can take it. The thing is, there's a couple things that you don't want to take it. Like if you have a hyperthyroid condition, you don't want to take it because it's going to help you convert more thyroid hormones, so it's going to speed up the thyroid. It's great for a hypothyroid. But so many people are deficient, especially if they have issue with the liver, and they get relief. A deficiency of bile will even set you up for gastritis or even an ulcer. So bile is a very fascinating topic I've been into. I have every single textbook they wrote on bile. You realize that they have conventions. Scientists go to conventions every year to just talk about bile, international conventions. I want to go there.
I know where you're going.
I'm going there.
I know you are.
And I get their summary sheets and I'm like, this is fascinating data because bile extends way beyond just the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that.
I know, it's going to be like Christmas. I can just see you're counting down. He's going to be checking off the days on the calendar.
I'm going to the convention, Karen. All right,
Good.
Let's go to Jill from Arizona. Are you there?
Yes.
Hi.
It's actually Gil.
Oh, Gil. Okay, great.
Quick question. Been doing keto for about 4 years, and there have been some really good benefits. One of which is I never gain weight anymore.
Wow, that's
which
good.
is really good.
Nice.
Okay, but I've also been doing IF for various reasons, and I've noticed IF has never been easy for me, but I have to do it for health reasons. And sometimes I feel horrible, but I still stick with it. I do it for about 22 hours, but I feel, horrible fatigue. It's like I have to take a nap because I can't focus. And actually, it's kind of nice. The nap part is I get very, very relaxed when I get through the pain of it, and then I fall asleep. And after the nap, I feel really good.
Okay.
But it's very uncomfortable. Not all the time, okay, but sometimes.
Okay.
And I'm wondering how I can. What the hell's going on?
So I have a question, Gil. Are you taking, while you're fasting, are you taking any electrolytes, specifically potassium?
While I'm fasting?
Yes.
No, it's just water.
Okay.
I'm concerned. When I'm fasting, taking anything like supplements or electrolytes, although I have them, it kind of upsets my stomach.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm open to anything, actually.
Okay. Have you ever taken MCT oil while you're fasting?
No.
Okay. So if you're tired, first question is I'm thinking, okay, so maybe you're not getting enough ketones to your brain and to the cells, and one way to find out is you could even test the waters and take a little MCT oil or even exogenous ketones. And if you feel better from that, then we know your body's just not transitioning into ketone and ketosis as well, and that's why you're tired. That usually happens in the transitional phase. However, I don't think it's that. I think the thing is you don't really store a lot of potassium for very long. And the electrolytes, and you want to be careful what type of electrolytes you take because A lot of times they don't have enough potassium. I recommend one that has 1,000 milligrams. I've done a lot of videos on this. And it has everything but no sugar, so it doesn't have all the stuff that Gatorade has and other things with sugar. But the point is that you consume a tremendous amount of potassium in the cells for energy. Without the potassium, your cells can't generate the electrical charge, as the cells are batteries. 30% of all your energy in your body is allocated to these little pumps that generate this electrical energy, and it's called the sodium-potassium pump. So you might want to experiment and take some potassium citrate or a good electrolyte and see if your energy doesn't come up. And if that doesn't work, take some sea salt. One of those two is going to raise your energy. And I think that's all you're missing, is you need electrolytes to generate the electricity to keep your energy up. That's really what you need. All right, thanks for your question. And Kathy, you're from West Virginia. Are you there?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, I am.
What's your question?
My question is, the doctor, I go to an arthritis doctor because I had arthritis pretty bad in my wrist and shoulders, a lot of places. But anyway, she put me on sulfasalazine, 500 milligrams twice a day, 2 in the morning, which is 1,000 milligrams, and 2 in the evening. Well, when I'm fasting in the morning times, I don't like to take all that because she says don't take it on an empty stomach. And usually I have coffee and water at the morning time, and I can do real good. And I started this July the 4th, and I'm down 16 pounds. And I started following you then, and a friend of my sister's told me about you. And I also found out I had a fatty liver. So I started drinking the apple cider vinegar organic and the lemon juice organic and the cranberry juice organic. And but my problem is, when I'm fasting, how can I take my medications? Because I take a bunch of vitamins, and I take omega-3. I take 3,200 omega-3 a day, and I take Celebrex for my arthritis. And I feel good and everything when I'm fasting like that, doing the IF. And but it's just that I don't want to irritate my stomach because I've got kind of a sensitive stomach. And when she says don't take it on an empty stomach, then like this morning I just ate a mango, and I still haven't taken my medication yet because I've been just holding off on taking it at the morning time.
Let me give you some tips. Let me give you some tips, Kathy. Okay. So I realize I'm not telling you not to take your medication. I can't do that, but this is a suggestion. Get with your doctor and see if the combination of fasting and then some additional vitamin D together could actually benefit you from helping those reduce the symptoms of your arthritis to the point where maybe you don't need to take it as often. Get with your doctor on that, because that's really, you're going to find your pain's going to go down as you do this. That's the whole goal, so you can take less medication. So that will solve that problem. I also noticed that you mentioned you took 2 things, mangoes, which is not on the keto plan, which you want to avoid that, and also the cranberry juice. You want to nix that. So watch some more videos on these hidden carbs, and once you start cutting the carbs down, the pain's going to go away. Arthritis is going to go down, so that way you'll need less medication. Thanks for your call.
Good. So, considering the time, I'm going to just welcome real quick Swaziland, Africa, Hungary, Guatemala, and Taiwan. And if you didn't hear me call your country in the last 15 minutes, it's because I did earlier. I think I got everybody. Also, Karen has been asking repeatedly your opinion on safflower oil, and I want you to answer that before we take off.
It's okay. It's okay as long as it's a cold expressed expeller type. So it's not like rancid, something like that. High quality organic, occasionally. But you have to realize it's still an omega-6 fatty acid, and most people have way too much of that. So I would prefer if you used for cooking oil like butter or coconut oil, olive oil, much better. Just because we have way too much omega-6 fatty acid. In the summit, Dr. Chris Kenobi is going to discuss that topic extensively. He just did and
on that note, get your summit tickets get your free immune system course and share it with everybody, because that course isn't going to be free for a whole lot longer. And have an awesome weekend.
See you guys. See you later.